Okay, first thing I want to do is the invention tutorial. I believe I have to talk to this guy. I don't actually know for a fact, but let me go do this real quick. And then I believe once I'm done with this, I can go to Charlie in Ardoin Zoo and actually claim like 10,000 free invention XP. So we'll go from there. Also, sorry, I believe in the last clip you might have noticed it, but even now I'm a little sick. I don't think it might not be that noticeable, but I am sick, so I do apologize if I sound pretty bad, but that's why. Did not record it, but I completed the tutorial, so got a basic understanding of invention. So I'm definitely going to spend this episode messing around with invention some more. But one of the things I do want to do before I really go too hard on invention is I want to get my hunter up to, I believe it's 67 for Black Sallies. Yeah, 67 for Black Sallies and base 70 attack, mage, and range, which I'm not far off for attack and mage. I think, well, yeah, definitely need range and mage for sure, but I don't know if I need mage. But I believe if I talk to Chuck here, I can actually claim the Back to the Freezer XP now. I see these invention, so we got something for you. Boom, 10k invention XP, all the way up to level 10, completely for free, and I have base 10. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of the base, the base XP things. Let me go back to that invention place. Oh my god, you can disassemble noted items. I had no idea this was a thing. I pulled out a full inventory of logs, disassembled them. I'm like, you know what? Let me see if you can do noted items. I didn't think you could, but you can. So I'm just going to sit here and disassemble a bunch of these logs. I'll be back eventually. And then I'm also going to go and disassemble some of the gems. Actually, let me get all this stuff I'll disassemble and show you guys real quick. All right, I'm sure there's more stuff, but a lot of this stuff is like one-off items. So we'll see. So I know some of this stuff is like fortunate. Yeah, so these are like fortunate things. But I'm going to go disassemble. Right now I'm disassembling just kind of these one-off items just to kind of show off what we'll get. Or not one expensive, but like the boost scroll items, sorry, just to show off what we get here. Boom, some pristine fortunate stuff. I think that's all of the... I want to do the orichalcum pickaxe. Chromium pickaxe. I believe that's everything. Alright. Oh, and then these arrows. I wanted to see if these... you need at least 50. Alright, well, I'll just throw these back in here then for now. And I'll just keep disassembling stuff. I probably shouldn't have disassembled that, but I'm just going to disassemble a bunch of crap. I believe this is like the new high alch for me. Because you just use this to get rid of stuff. But I have myself 2,970 sapphires, 2,889 emeralds, and 712 more acacia logs. I'm just going to go and disassemble all this stuff. Alright, so I read into it, and apparently you are supposed to turn the actual gems into like actual items before you disassemble them, so that's what I'm going to do. The logs, I believe you just straight up turn these into just components, so I'm going to do that. I'll throw these back in here. I don't really care. I'm going to go and disassemble these logs, and then I do want to mess around more with invention, but the problem is like I said before, the main issue is I want to get to the Black Sallies before I really start working on it, because if my knowledge is correct, the main way you actually end up getting XP from invention is by leveling up like weapons and then disassembling them. So Black Sallies are super good for Iron Men. So I definitely need to work on getting this episode 67 Hunter, and then from there we'll getting myself 70 magic and I believe 70 range is what I'm going to need as well. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it here in a minute, but let me go and work on getting the acacia logs done, or Acacia logs. So I finished disassembling all the stuff, and it just opens up a giant chore of stuff more I need to get. So it's like one door opens, and then it feels like 3 more doors in front of me I need to open. So it's super annoying, but not that bad. But basically what I need to work on next in terms of skilling is I need to get 67 Hunter, 70 Mage, and 70 Range, I believe. I think those are the stats you need in order to use a Black Sally. And then from there I'll be able to use the Black Sally. I don't know where I will level it up. I'll figure some grind spot to level it up. level it up, and then go from there. The other reason why, the other place I can go and do it, which is obviously going to be my long-term spot, is by going and doing it while killing the virus. I believe you can augment the weapon you kill the virus with in AFK. So obviously I do that, disassemble that, and can do that over and over again. The problem though is to do that, I need to actually get components I do not have, which is like some more power components, flexible parts, tensile parts, and some incandescent energy. Ironically, I feel like the incandescent energy is going to be the easiest to get. I don't know how fast I can get it, but this is going to be the easiest to get. The tensile parts are probably going to be annoying. Or not annoying, sorry. The tensile parts and flexible parts aren't going to be that bad. It's just making bows, so I'm pretty sure I can do that extremely easy. And then the powerful components, I will have to look into, but I'm pretty sure either making a magic armor that's super easy to make, or probably summoning pouches are probably going to be the best bet. That's something. I do have some scrolls I can actually disassemble. It's not a lot, but I do have a couple of scrolls I can disassemble. I think that's what I'll do there. And I'm just going to disassemble a bunch of random stuff in my bank while I think about where I'm going to get some stuff. And I'll catch you guys when I'm done. So I decided I'm actually going to go and start collecting brilliant essence or energy, sorry, while I think for a little bit on how I want to collect some of these other parts for the augmentation. I'd rather get the materials first and then go and worry about making the augmenter, or then worry about getting the levels later, just so I can, right when I have the stuff for it, I can immediately start doing it. That being said, my initial thought process here, so hear me out here, for the parts I don't have, or just everything in general, the base parts I can get extremely easily, just like any 2H weapon I can make, so I'm not worried about that. Adamant or, mithril, doesn't really matter. Tensile parts and flexible parts are super easy. I can just turn all my maple logs into unstrung bows, so I'll just go and do that. For my parts, I have tons of maple logs coming in for my kingdom, so I'll just do that consistently. The enhancing one is going to be annoying in the future, but I think it's a good investment for you to start working on early on, and that's by doing Rings of Slayer, or Slayer Rings. I can go and start working on those. I have the crafting level for it. I just need to get the Slayer unlock, the point unlock for that one, so that shouldn't be too bad. And then I can start going and using that for enhancing. Then the powerful ones, I'm most likely just going to do amuleted defenses. I'm looking into other things, but the only other option I can realistically think of is Spirit Terror Bird pouches. Otherwise, it's buying 20 insulated boots a day and disassembling them, and I don't think that's going to be incredibly worth it. I know a lot of people do that, but I don't think that's incredibly worth it when I have like 9,000 emeralds in my bank that are just waiting to be used on something. So that's what I'm thinking. I'll come back with you guys later if I change my mind, but there you go. So this is something I read about online. I'm going to give it a shot, but apparently if you join a private instance of Croesus and only do the hunter node, you can get some crazy good XP per hour. I want to try this. So I didn't bring any super stores. I probably should have, but I didn't. And all you do is, like I said, you just apparently just catch and you get, oh my god, this is actually crazy XP. And you just sit here and yeah, you do this. So I have a magic butterfly net on me. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I do. And you basically just do Croesus like you would normally. Except you only doing the hunter node, and then right when the hunter node is, depleted, you then go and you just log out, and then you log back in and repeat the process over and over again, and apparently you get some pretty good XP per hour. I heard someone say you can get almost 1 mil XP per hour here at 99. I don't know if that's true, but, that's what I read. Oh, whatever. So just keep that in mind. I should probably get some restores, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because I'm going to be logging in and out. So we'll see. And this is 62 Hunter. I'm going to go catch grade shins for the last hour here. But I just have to say, if you ever want to just grind your Hunter up, this is definitely the thing to do. You don't even need any of the restores. All you do is you just basically just do the Hunter node and just run around, and there you go. And if you get killed, you get killed. It's not that big of a deal. It's super quick, honestly. So much quicker than the other method. Anyways, I'm going to go do some grade shins for the last level here. I don't know if I'm going to actually get the pet, but if I do, great. If I don't, whatever. Or not the pet, the baby grade shin. The main thing I want is just some grade shins just to use to get my, my ranged up to level 55. I think I might have mentioned it in one of the previous clips, but I am sick, so I do apologize. But this is 63 Hunter
which means we can now start catching the Reg and Champas, which is what I'm going to do next. I wanted to snag some of the Great Champas because I want to use some for the, what's that thing called? God, I already forgot what it's called. For range training. There you go. So I figured that's what I could do there. So I have 177. That should definitely be enough to get me up to 55. I don't think you use that many when you're training range, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I'm going to go to down here, and I'm just going to go and start catching myself some red shins, and I'll catch you guys hopefully at 67. 67 hunter.
All right, I am starting to feel better, but still sick, obviously. But this is 67 hunter in the bag, which means we can now start catching black salamanders. Woo! Now, apparently, I haven't looked at the efficient Ironman guide in a while, but if I look at it, it actually says I'm supposed to now go and grind out 90, almost said smithing, hunter at Croasis. Not necessarily going to do that, but I am going to go and catch some black sallies and work on getting, I think my next steps are getting some black sallies and getting my range and mage up to 70 respectively. For black sallies, I also looked into it. Apparently you only need 70 range. You don't need 70 mage as well, so that's good. So I just need 70 range for them, so that works, I guess, I think is a good way to put it. But there's still tons of other things I need to snag for getting the augmentations, so I'm gonna go look into that and probably actually go and get some stuff to augment. But I'll catch you guys when I'm done. So I made a decision on what I'm going to spend my augments on, and I'm sorry if this is stupid, but from what I read, apparently you can do a lot of stuff with these, but it's these legendary pets you can get with augments. So you can either get the fire lichen or the water lichen. I think I'm going to go with the fire one, I guess. I don't know. I know it's just cosmetic, but there we go. We got the fire lichen. If we go to the pets tab, which I need to find. Sorry, I was reading an article, but this is 76 fire making in the bag. I'm still a little sick. I do apologize, but this is now the fire making requirement for Rivers of Blood. I wanted to go and turn my maple logs into maple shield bows, but I wanted to make sure I had the fire making knocked out first before I went and did that. So there we go. I do also at some point need to get the money and also go and get my construction up to level, I believe I need it to be level 80 for Plague's End, but that's down the road. I don't really care. I also want to unlock baitless fishing. That's another thing I would like to unlock. I need to get my construction up for that, and I need to look more into it, but apparently you get something from fishing. It's like a golden egg or something, I don't know, and then if you turn it in, then you can select a reward in your player-owned house, and then you can select baitless fishing. That's what I want to get next, so I don't have to buy daily amounts of bait. But yeah, that's basically all that. I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to go and start crafting some of these maple logs into maple shield bows, and then I will go and disassemble them. And yeah, I think then from there, I just want to go and gather as many materials as I can for making the thingies for our invention. I forget what it's called, but the things that upgrade weapons and stuff. Okay. I got the I have, in case you're wondering why I'm like this, I have an account that has like 30 something hunter on it and has the hunter pet. And I have a dungeoneering, the previous account, Ironman I made a long time ago, has the dungeoneering pet. I got at 99 dungeoneering. So essentially, between all my RuneScape 3 accounts, I have 3 skilling pets. I would like to point out, I have not a single pet in RuneScape 3, or old school RuneScape. This is funny. I'm not upset. I'm just like a little bit amazed, I'll be honest. Oh god, that's funny. In case you're curious what I'm doing right now, I'm point boosting so I can unlock the ability to use what's it called? Slayer, or I can make Slayer rings. I only need to get 30 more points, so I'm just point boosting real quick. All right, I got enough points to learn how to make the Slayer ring, so I'm going to do that right now. In order to do this, I believe it's as simple as just buying enchanted gems. How much are these? 50 each. Or to buy a max amount. Oh, wow, they're super cheap in this game. Okay. I thought they'd be more expensive. Let me go to Berthope, get another pack of 250, and I'm going to go and make myself about 300 Slayer rings, maybe more. I don't really see a huge point into getting a lot of these, simply because of the way transportation works in this game, but I know they're really good for disassembling, so that's the main purpose of me making these. I'm just going to disassemble all of them, just to show you guys all of the spoils I've gotten so far. I'm probably going to definitely need to get more, but these are basically what I'm going to be doing for most of the components for the augmenter. That's what it's called. I forgot the name of it. But I'm going and I'm disassembling Slayer rings, which are super easy to get. The Ignited defenses, which are fairly easy to get. It's just balls of wool and cosmic runes I'm probably going to have to buy every day, simply because of the stock, and then also the maple shield bows. This should cover almost everything, except for, I think it actually will cover everything. So what I'm going to work on next is getting my range up to level 70. I figure the best way for me to do this is by doing Slayer. So I'm actually going to go, and I brought an extra item. So I'm actually going to go to Xanaris and do some more Slayer tasks. So needless to say, I kind of gave up on Lesser Demons. Not because it's bad, it's actually decent XP. The problem is it's not AoE, and it's actually kind of annoying to do because you have to click a lot while you're doing it. So I figured I would go and give Jungle Horrors a try. It's a lot more AFK if I want it to be, or I can pay attention, kind of like what I'm doing right now, where I'm paying more attention. But you can do this fairly AFK. So I'm going to do this for a while. I figure with red shins and everything else, it shouldn't be too bad. I am taking more damage than when I was with melee. This is 70 ranged. This took a lot longer than I would like to admit, simply because I ran out of red shins and I did not feel like going and catching more, so I just kept powering through. Probably going to need to get some for the 75 range grind, or 78. We got ourselves a good bit of stuff. This isn't obviously everything from 50 to 70. This is like 60 something up to 70, but this is a good bit. We got a good bit of Renars now. So I am having a bit of a conundrum at the moment, and I want to get your guys' opinions and takes on it, if you do have one, on this situation. So I currently am stuck on which combat style of progression I want to go down. I know I could very well do all of them at once or whatever, but for the most part, I kind of want to primarily focus on one for my bossing and PVM progression for now, so that's what I'd like to do. I mean, who knows, maybe later down the road I'll realize I sound like an idiot, but for now, this is kind of my thought process, right? I want to focus on melee, range, or mage, on this guy at least, right? And then go from there. That being said, I don't know what I'd want to do. Initially I was going to go with melee, but I kind of want to save melee for if I make a different character. I have a bunch of different kind of ideas in mind for Snowflake Ironman I can make and stuff like that, or even honestly, probably the most realistic is maybe even doing a hardcore Ironman. You know, if I ever get finished with this character, not that I'm not saying I'm going to, I'm just saying if I ever get finished with this character, maybe I'll make a hardcore and then do that one. And then for that one, I probably want to do melee. So I kind of want to save melee for something like that, where it is easier in the sense of it's just grinding out smithing and then doing bossing. While with range and mage, I personally feel like there's a bit more involved with like exploring content and doing bosses and the whole 9 yards. Because when I looked into the gear progression, my initial reasoning for choosing melee was literally because of the fact that it was just get your smithing up. Even if you don't get 99, just get 90 for Eldrarune and Eldrarune gear, and then you just go and do bossing. Like, you don't really need, you don't need Vanquish, you don't need to do all this other shit if you don't want to. You can just go and get your smithing up and then start bossing. And that's what initially attracted me to melee. But as I'm playing the game more, I kind of want to explore more of the game if I can, to an extent, right? I don't want to go and do some super convoluted and annoying methods to get a weapon, you know, just because it's different, right? I don't want to do something like that. I'm not that much into RuneScape 3 yet that I want to do some super snowflakey shit, but I just want to do something that is not typical to what would be to me a cop-out melee build, is kind of my initial reasoning. And that being said, I would like to avoid using chaotics if I can, simply so I could go and explore more content, but I don't know if that's realistically possible, because from my understanding is you use chaotics simply because they have a really good what's it called? They have a really good, or not really good. They have the ability to use bolts, which is a really good feature because you can use certain types of bolts that I guess do bonus damage on certain types of monsters, and that's really good for bossing and stuff like that. So I really don't know, honestly, what I'm going to do or what I want to do for my gear progression route, and I want to know what you guys think on that whole, like, kind of with what I just said. I know it might sound all over the place, but I want to know what you guys think about it and what your guys' take is on which route I should go down, and kind of what your ideas are for the weapon progression I should go down, and the whole 9 yards, right? Because as long as it's not anything too crazy is the best way to put it. Like, oh, hey, try to get this super rare 1 in 10,000 drop chance of a weapon and then use that. Like, no, screw that. But if it's like a realistic thing that, you know, that's like kind of cool, like, oh, I've never seen someone go and use like the tier 80 crystal bow, right? Go for the tier 80 crystal bow and then use that with the with, like, you know, with armor gear, and then use that instead of going and just getting chaotics, right? And getting a world crossbow, like stuff like that I would be open to, but not necessarily going and that whole 9 yards. I also want to avoid chaotics if possible, like I said before, but I understand if like chaotic crossbows are just that broken, I'll basically have to get them, then I understand. But if I can't avoid it, I would like to. Anyways, that's that. I know this is like a 4-minute clip, so I do apologize. Okay, sorry, I had to turn on the recorder because I was about to actually miss it. There we go. Hold on 1 second, and boom. 70 magic. This was actually super quick, and I'm thinking when I go to get my defense up, I'll probably do via magic because I was getting like double the XP rate I was getting with ranged, but we'll see. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, this was a requirement from Branch of the Darkmare. I did not realize it. Okay. Regardless of that's pretty cool. Corruption Blast. I'm pretty sure we have to like unlock it though. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go get a melee setup, and then we'll go and get our attack up to 78 or 70, sorry. Then we'll be done with the baseline abilities, and we'll start needing to working on strength and defense after. I think this kill. Yep, there we go. 70 attack in the bag. Whole bunch of stuff we can utilize now, but I'm actually going to go and switch over to defense only here for a bit. I want to get my defense up to 60, and then we'll get my strength up to 60, and I'll just kind of repeat that process over and over again. And I will say, the melee is infinitely faster than range, and a good bit faster than mage overall when doing it this way. So I am not going to complain. Boom, 60 defense. I am not gonna lie, I'm a little burnt out because I've been doing this for like the past like 24 hours. Just been grinding and doing some other things like IRL, like when I'm actually playing. This is all I've been doing. Okay, just one more kill. Boom, baby. Level 60 strength in the bag. Pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm working on Slayer. I figure I might as well. So what I'm going to be doing, I had a chest from Cheddar I did, but because I'm now over 90 combat, I'm going to go and start doing tasks from Sumona. Yeah, I think that's how I pronounce it. I'm going to get a task from her, and my understanding is that she's basically gives the same assignments as Duradel, just in less amounts. So I can get, I get the Grogworms, or I can get the Red Dragons. Obviously, we're doing Grogworms. Okay, I figure what good way to end this episode than the goal I wanted to accomplish at the very start, and that is augmenting a weapon. So I'm going to go and augment the Black Sally here. I believe I just do this. Yes, I'm well aware. And boom, we have an augmented Black Sally. I believe I don't even need to check. Yeah, I believe I don't need to add gizmos. I could be wrong with it, but I believe you don't have to. You can if you want to, but I believe I don't have to. I will look into that before I say for certain, but I'm pretty sure I don't have to. I also know I can do some discoveries here. I may do those in a second, but I know I want to do more almost called archaeology, invention, exploration, and the whole 9 yards this episode, but obviously I haven't. But I do figure this is a good place for me to end. I am going to work on Slayer for a little bit here. I want to try to grind my Slayer up a good bit, as well as get my combat stats a bit up, because they are, I'll be honest, a little bit lacking. I'm definitely a little bit more heavy on the skilling side, but I want to kind of get my combat stats up a good bit here, and we'll go from there. So next episode, or we'll be focusing more on Slayer, and then once we are done getting myself up to 70 defense and 75 attack, I'm then going to focus on getting my ranged up all the way up to 75, so we'll be able to get hopefully at least a couple of almost divination, invention. I'm calling it every new skill except what it is, invention levels, by disassembling some black Sally, so that's pretty good. I'm also going to be storing up some more of those swamp tars as I do Slayer tasks, because I don't have a lot of swamp tar, and the easiest way for me to get them is by doing Slayer. I'll get them occasionally, so there is that. But before I do that, I do want to see if I can discover anything before we end the episode here. So let me go see if I can, and then we'll go from there.